Hey guys, Jason here once again with the SG1 Sports Channel. Let's dive right into some Vanderbilt Commodore football. Like most teams across the country, Vanderbilt has some questions needing answered. They also have some big holes that need to be filled after last season's departures. So let's look at the four biggest questions Vanderbilt must answer in fall camp. Question number one is, who will be the starting quarterback? With the departure of Kyle Shermer, who holds virtually every passing record in school history, there's some big shoes that have to be filled at that position. And coming out of spring practice, it was essentially a two-man race between Riley Neal and Deuce Wallace. Now, Riley Neal is a graduate transfer from Ball State. While there, he had 32 career starts, 7,500 yards passing. He even had 1,300 yards rushing. So, and he's a bigger kid with a big arm, and they really like his potential and his ability. Now, Deuce Wallace has been somewhat of an enigma for Vanderbilt. He sat out last year due to a suspension for violation of university policy. He played sparingly in 2017. They were looking for him to take over after Shermer left. But, they just don't know how much, ground he lost, missing all of 2018. But he seems to be the clear-cut number two. Could challenge for the starting job, but look for Riley Neal to come out of fall camp as the starting quarterback for Vanderbilt. Question number two is, can they find O-linemen? Now, Vanderbilt has to replace three starters with the departures of center Bruno Reagan, left tackle Justin Skule, and right guard Egidio Del Ripa. Now, they have some, experience coming back, but, it's not just solidified experience. Redshirt junior Devin Cochran has been getting first-team reps at left tackle. Redshirt sophomore Grant Miller has been taking snaps at center. And redshirt junior Sean McMorrow has seemed to have taken over at the right guard position. Junior Cole Cochran has been practicing at right tackle. After starting 10 games last year, splitting those starts between left and right guard, he has some experience. Senior left guard Sage Young has played 9 games last year, also splitting those starts between left guard and right guard. So, there's some vague experience there at best that Vanderbilt can build on. And, last year, Vanderbilt was 66th nationally in rushing, 9th in the SEC with 167 yards a game. So I'm certainly sure that, Derek Mason is looking for a step forward with his O-line this year. I don't know if they'll get there. They may be able to take a small step forward. I'm just not exactly sure. Question number three, can Vandy avoid starting 0-3? Now, look, I feel really bad for Derek Mason. In a season where his tenure, could be in question in Nashville, he has to start the season with a monumental first 3 games. He's got Georgia at home, at Purdue, and then LSU at home. And if there is a tougher start, to the season anywhere else in the country, I don't know about it. And with a new quarterback and a seemingly new O-line and a defense that last year, quite frankly, disappeared a lot, I'm betting Vandy would, just love a 1-2 start, take their ball and go home. And also, having Georgia and LSU at home, to me, that really isn't a factor for Vandy. I would think, they will open up as a double-digit dog in both those games. So if they can steal the Purdue game, and start 1-2, because 0-3 is really a tough hole to climb out of, and to have any chance, Mason and his staff, definitely have to get the O-line and quarterback questions solidified in fall camp, because learning on the fly is not the route to go against this early schedule. Question number 4 is, what will be said about Derek Mason at season's end? Look, I like Derek Mason. I really like him. I think, him taking Vanderbilt was a huge challenge that, quite frankly, he welcomed at the time he took over. I don't think he feels that way as we speak. He could have taken any job he wanted, pretty much a much easier job coming out as the DC at Stanford. But, I just think the competitive nature in him looked forward to the challenge of Vanderbilt. But, it's a different job. It's a tough job, and I'm not sure he quite understood that at the time. Now I think within the rank and file of coaches, Mason is highly regarded. I think in the mainstream and in the public eye, he is vastly underrated. This guy is a ball coach. Vandy is, I think, just a more complicated job and situation than Mason had anticipated. And since I do respect the guy so much, I hope he can find a way to navigate that early schedule steal a couple conference games, and get back to a bowl game. Whatever ends up happening, I think there will be nothing but positive comments about this guy at season's end. I really believe he's one heck of a coach. I just think he is just completely underrated and just over his head at Vanderbilt.